Very hot and serious topic this morning in the controversy over the FDA's approval for over-the-counter sales for emergency contraception to people as young as 15 years old. But our own Dr. Manny Alvarez writes this, quote, "This decision is just another example of how our healthcare system is broken and no one is really watching what's going on in America today. Seems like everything else in this administration changes when there are hard decisions to make." Dr. Manny Alvarez is the senior managing editor of FoxNewsHealth.com, and Jammu Green also joins me on the set here with her thoughts on this, former president of the Women's Media Center and a Fox News contributor. So since we heard from Dr. Manny in the intro, Jammu, your reaction to that?
Well, I think this decision is really about removing obstacles and barriers for all women and making this over the counter. I think we have to applaud, actually, the FDA choosing science over politics. When you have politics mixing with, the medical decisions that a woman is making with her family and with her doctor, and a young woman would be making, with herself or with her partner, with her parents, ideally with her parents.
Yeah, but the parents are not included in this equation, Jammu, because if you're 15 years old, you can walk into any pharmacy, any retail outlet that has a little pharmacy with it, and you can do something that's going to dramatically change what's going on in your body. Dr. Manny?
Well, this is exactly the opposite. This is politics getting their nose in healthcare like everything else that they're doing in this country. Since when is a 15-year-old child a woman? Now, give me a break. I have a 14-year-old daughter. She's a teenager. She's a child. She has a lot of growing up to do. It is my responsibility and my wife's responsibility alone to bring that to fruition, not the federal government, not the president, not anybody else. And it's funny because President Obama, when Secretary Sebelius came on, whatever it was that the first choice of Plan B was being proposed, he said, well, I agree with her. 17 should be the limit. I supported that. All of a sudden now, some judge in New York questions that. Everybody runs for the hills. Nobody wants to make the hard decisions. And all of a sudden now, it's 15 years. So what's going to happen 2 years from now? Somebody's going to make another argument, and they're going to say, you know what? Maybe it should be from the moment they're born. Come on. Yeah. That's politics interfering in healthcare. And to me, there are side effects, and I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to be telling the American public this is a medication, and parents should be aware exactly of what's going on.
I've read warnings on allergy medication for my kids.
Look,
look at the list of warnings on this thing.
This is the pill, right? And this is the insert. It reads like the Constitution. There's so many, possibilities, probabilities, percentages. You're going to tell me a 15-year-old girl and who can even buy it and give it to a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old is going to understand all the potential side effects and what they should do after if they have any of the symptoms?
Jammu, doesn't this concern you?
Well, what concerns me is that not all young people, not all teenagers have the relationship that probably Dr. Manny has with his daughter.
So why don't we work on that first?
For those young women who do not have that opportunity to talk to their parents, get their parents involved in this decision, we can't leave them out there in the cold. And who else has been left out in the cold are all women. When you have the ability for them not to get this over the counter, there are barriers by pharmacy hours being not open at all times, pharmacies not in as many locations for women. This affects all of us. So ideally, yes, parents would be talking to their children about
you're
this.
Still going
but
to the pediatrician appointment and sitting in there, listening to what the doctor has to say to your child. What scares me is, this idea that 7th and 8th graders, maybe 9th graders in the 15-year age range, say to each other, oh, well, you don't have to worry about it. You can just take one of these pills. You can get it, over there at the corner right after. It's no problem.
Actually, Mark, the research shows that teenagers understand that this is not, to replace, ongoing contraception, that this is, these are isolated situations.
I have to disagree with you there. I have to disagree with you. There is overwhelming evidence that women in college sometimes use this emergency contraception as their routine method of contraception. You know what? They don't want to be on the pill, and so every time they make a mistake, they run and get this. And every time they make a mistake, they go and get this. You know what? It becomes a habit, and the habit becomes the method of choice for preventing pregnancy, and that's at the college level.
And who knows? I mean, you know, what the long-lasting implications of using it in that way are when this girl decides she wants to have a baby a few years.
Well, listen, I'm not arguing that this has some, mild to moderate side effects, not terrible side effects. I still I worry about ectopic pregnancies. I worry about a lot of things as an OBGYN, because I have women that come to my practice. Sometimes they don't even know that they're pregnant. So I have a problem with that. But I do realize that this, used properly, which is my argument, used properly with good instructions, with adult-like attitudes in a person that's taking it, it's okay. Right. But not at 11 years old or 15.
We're going to have to leave it there. Jamu, thank you for being here. Dr. Manny, thank you very much. It's a very controversial decision. And more